I've seen a lot of interviews with people who have built their own companies, and these people are working 15, 20 hours a day, right? And if it's your company, you can expect to do that. It's yours. It's your business. It's your baby, right? But if somebody is walking in the morning and hanging up their coat and sitting at a desk and doing their work and then walking out at the end of the, you can't expect the same commitment from that person, right? Yes, they're committed to their job, their role, their contract, their tasks, their responsibility. But you can't really expect them to be committed beyond that. And we've got the problem of cultural divides that are geographical. Let me give you a very simple example. In the center of Europe, it gets very hot in summer. You can see 35 degrees, right? I've seen 40 degrees sometimes, right? Crazy, crazy hot, right? In Britain, it might get 22, right? You can't expect the same people with the same job to work the same way in these two completely different climates. You can't expect the person in 35 degrees to be, busy working away like it's normal, because when it's hot, you get tired more easily. And also, you want to be outside. You want to be outside enjoying the sunshine, in a park or in the countryside or swimming or whatever. You want to be enjoying it, right? If you've got no park and no countryside and nowhere to swim, then you might be more tempted to go and do some work as something to do. So it's about your mindset, which is about your environment. That's what creates these things. And work is psychopathy, also psychopathy, right? It is a way of thinking which might or might not be healthy for people. And we've all seen that. We've all seen people who have very unhealthy working lifestyles. It causes a lot of health problems, causes heart problems, causes brain problems, causes cancers, causes a lot of, causes personal relationship problems. They have very unhealthy working lifestyles, and you can't really expect your job to be your religion. You can't really expect that. It's too much to ask, unless unless you're one of the gods, right? It's different if you're at the top, right? It's different if you're making decisions that people live and die by. Like they're going to have a job or not have a job the next day. So that's different, and you can take on those responsibilities and work harder at those things, but not everybody is work orientated. Work brings us some benefits, some fun, some good things, some education, some knowledge, some purpose, some sharing of tasks, but it doesn't provide us a lot of the time with other things that we need to, social activities, family relationships, peace and quiet, right? Things that we need from time to time. And then work can move towards that. They can have their residential weekends and their team building activities and their extra benefits for certain employees and care kits and so on. And they can try to do that. But at the end of the day, A culture that only works is a little bit dead inside. I mean, what are the good things in life? Most people don't have their job at number one. Maybe it should be. Most people don't have their job at number one in their life as the great thing that they leap out of bed for in the morning, and they don't have that in first place. They have a lot of other important things in first place, and people sometimes, forget that. And I understand that you want to set a good example, but set a good example for yourself, and then let those who want to follow, and those who don't, let those who want to live with you, and those who want to die doing something else, do something else. Just let them let them be. So I can understand the problems, especially in the modern time, of people. Someone who's already under pressure doesn't need more pressure. What happens when you shake the bottle of fizzy, whatever, Coke or champagne, or what happens when you shake the bottle and then the top comes flying off, right? And that's not just symbolic of individuals and companies, but it's also symbolic of the planet that we live on. If you have noticed, maybe you have or haven't noticed, probably not because you're busy working. In the last week, there have been a lot of volcanoes erupting, a lot of earthquakes, a lot of tsunami warnings. Warnings. There's been a lot of extra unusual activity around the planet, and as biological forces and entities and beings, what we're in relation to our environment. If the planet is under stress, it's because we are under stress. Yeah, I mean, where does all the litter and the rubbish and the pollution comes from? Where does that come from? It's not created by the planet. It's created by us putting stress on ourselves and our environment. It's created by us. We create the rubbish. Yeah, all that plastic in the sea. We created that. Yeah, and so very often, if you want to understand how human beings are reacting and what it is that they're doing, you look at the environment around about and say, okay, what's causing that? What's happening in the environment? And it's massive seismic activity all over the world for the last week, causing the Earth across Europe. I mean, we're talking hundreds of earthquakes a day in European countries, hundreds a day, causing the whole planet to do this. We're living on it. We're standing on it. What's it going to do to us? We live in sort of harmony with our environment to a certain extent, so we don't feel it. But it's all happening. It's all going on, and people are so focused on their own thing that they don't see. They're not aware of all the other things that are happening around about. And so, some people are. You have to wonder about women that are married to their job. It's like, yep, that's one of the things I learned out in Slovakia was, I had very much had this British mindset of work, and work is important, and I get it, it's important. But you also have to understand that work is sometimes an arbitrary thing that you don't have control over, and it can be taken away from you. Your company could turn around tomorrow and say, thank you very much. Thank you for your service. Now here's a check and we'll see you again never, right? Your company can do that. They can do that. They're big and they're powerful and they've got lawyers, and we're just small. we're like little Lego characters.
no, we are like how it's called, like on the chess, these figures.
Chess piece. Yeah, pawns. We are little pawns. Oh yeah, yeah. And sometimes you move the pawns into battle, and sometimes you sacrifice them. Sometimes you lose them. Yeah, and sometimes you just turn the board over, right? You know? So yeah, we are small, and it's a good little mind game for people to play with themselves. Like, what would I do tomorrow if I didn't have my job? And for some people are like, I can't imagine not having my. Okay, well, that's a problem. That's a problem because you're so tied to the work that you do that you don't know who you are. And a lot of people are so tied to their job, so tied to their position, so tied to their tasks, that you take those things away and they're a bit lost. They're like not sure what to do. And what I learned being out in Central and parts of Eastern Europe is that work is just something that you can really enjoy your work as well, but it's just something that allows you to experience other things. That's it. But if you, not that you shouldn't work at it, you should always do good work, right? I mean, there's no reason not to do good work unless you're a complete idiot, right? Right. But you should, because that's how you get respect and you get trust and you build friendships, relationships, because you're able to do something well. You're able to give information or provide a service or help people out in some way. And so we should always work at our work, but you have to give people the space as well to go and do their own thing. And you can tie that together with things like the Pareto principle. It's the 80-20 principle, where there's a lot of the 80-20 principle, right? That's
80-20.
80-20. It's the 80-20 principle or Pareto principle is like let me give you a simple example. 80% of your income will come from 20% of your customers.
Yes.
When you average it all out, and it's like 90-10 and 70-30, when you average it all out, it becomes 80-20. Yeah. 20% of your day will bring you 80% of your income.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that the other 80% is not important, because that feeds the 20%, right? It's all interconnected. Yeah. 20% of your food will give you 80% of your energy, right? You can apply it in a lot of different ways in a lot of different areas of life. And when we understand that, we got to live with the fact that there's going to be 80% of some kind of downtime, not where things are not happening, but just where those activities are going to be less important. But we can't always be exactly sure which is which, right? So you have 10 meetings, 8 of them are so-so, and 2 of them get you closer to where you want to be. Yeah. And it's probably less than that. You probably have to have like 50 meetings and 2 of them, but depends how good the person is at what they're doing and how relevant and accurate the meetings are and the information. So yeah, and when we look at what people are doing, it's like, okay, the number of times in life where going for a coffee makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? It's that difference between sitting down in the meeting room with the person and having a serious meeting and sitting down across the coffee table from the person and having a cup of coffee. Both are important, but both will give you a different perspective on things. Yeah. The person in the meeting room.
Sorry, but depends with whom you are sitting
Yes.
at the table.
Yeah, well, it's about being on the same page, right? And about the needs and necessities that you have from the meeting. If you know that they're happier in the meeting room, then you take them to the meeting room. If you know that they're happier in the coffee shop, then you take them to the coffee shop. It's about your knowledge of their needs in that situation. And but you're going to get a different perspective. In the meeting room, the person might seem nervous, unfocused, disconnected. Over the coffee, you might learn that their dog is sick, right? And that's why. And all of these things contribute. And maybe the coffee is going to be more valuable than the meeting room situation.
Yeah.
And it's about assessing correctly people's expectations and their level of comfort and abilities. And the number of times that people came into my school and I looked at them and I said, let's go for coffee. And they said, yeah. Right? You wouldn't believe the number of times that happened, where I looked at them because not first time, but after getting to know them for 1 month or 2 months, right? I would look at them and I would see that they feel they need to be here, but they don't want to be here. And so how do I bring together these two different points? And that would be
But I would say that it's mainly about, I would say, their comfort zone.
It is it's complicated. The comfort zone is a complicated principle because yes. I went for a jog earlier today and it's not very comfortable for me. Right? I didn't like people have this idea that you should be like, yes, a jog. Feel fucking fantastic. Bullshit. Right? Bullshit. Right? We don't live in a movie, okay? In the sense of the Hollywood style. We are central characters in our own story, but we don't live in a movie. There's no script. So that exercise, interesting. It's actually an interesting word, exercise. There's a couple of different meanings to it, right? I mean, it's not just physical, it's mental. And it's not just doing something, it's the practice of doing something. And so, yeah, we all know that maybe it's back to 80-20 again. I think there's two sides to everything. See, you don't learn anything if you're comfortable all the time. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being happy. You know? And people treat happiness like a crime now. I don't know if you've seen this trend. There's this because the present social climate has killed fun, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but all the things that used to be fun, you can't do them anymore. Yeah, going and having a few beers with your friends in the pub and talking shit was fun. Yeah, I don't mean talking bad about people. I just mean just, letting go and being yourself and not caring for a little while. Yeah. And so we have a climate that seems to criminalize fun to a certain extent. Well, it does actually criminalize. It's a crime, right? It's a crime to go and play football or whatever. I don't know, different in different countries, of course, but you can find examples of it. Yeah. And so you're not supposed to. This is a very serious situation. You're not supposed to have fun. Well, thank you, Mr. Killjoy, there, for killing all my joy and making me even more self-conscious and isolated. Thank you. But it seems that happiness has become a little bit of a, ooh, that's strange. That person's quite happy. But yeah, it matters a lot. It matters a lot to people that they're able to find some level of happiness or know what it is that makes them happy. Here's a great question for anybody, anywhere, at any time. What makes you happy? It's a great question for anybody, because you want someone to go and focus at any point in time. Ask them. So, what makes you happy? And they go, what? And you say, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? And they're like, what? I said, like, I know I'm supposed to sell you a product, but before I can sell you the product, I have to know the product is right for you. And to know if the product is right for you, I need to know, well, what makes you happy? Because if I give you orange juice and you like apple juice, you're not going to be happy, right? Yeah, if I take you here instead of there when you like to be there, then you're not going to be happy. So, what makes you? And people are like, first of all, nobody asks them. Nobody asks them. When was the last time somebody came to you and said, hey, what makes you happy? I don't know. You were probably 7 years old. Okay. Okay. And let's go outside of the exception of your partner in life is somebody who cares about your happiness, right? So obviously there's some relationship with that there. Yeah. But you could go outside of that, and it's pretty rare. Your friends maybe know what kind of beer you like, and your other little nuances, or whatever they are, differences, whatever they are. But you want someone instantly to focus on what's going on. You ask them, You know, ask them to tell you what makes you happy. All right, you know, here's the conference tool model of write down 3 things that make you happy. Write down 3 things that make you happy. Share it with the person next to you.
Mm.
See if you've got anything the same. See if any of you have written anything the same. Yeah. How much of it is work related and how much of it is outside of work? Yeah. And then work out how can you contribute to another person's happiness and improve their quality of life. And then you can develop a relationship, and then you can develop trust, and then you can sell something that they might need to them because you've improved their quality of life. Not just, I've got a fantastic new product. So this product is been developed over 15 years using all the latest technology, and we've packaged this in these renewable, recyclable, everything, just put in front of everything, and we use that word, and yeah, it's wonderful, and gold, happiness, and smiles, and you know, let's all contribute to the economy and make everything wonderful, and you know, that's intelligent people take that for granted. What that means is that that's there automatically. I get it. You want to sell me something. It's going to help everybody. If I give you money, you take the money and you get things over there, and I get the product, and these people get happy over here, and I get it. We don't need to have that. We don't need to have that conversation. I do need to know what information I can give to other people about why this is practical and useful. You know, email me the script. You know, I'll memorize it. Yeah, but you know, that's further down the road when you've got the trust developed. Yeah, but you know, if you don't know what makes a person tick, if you don't know what's in their head through the seconds of the day, then it's very hard to help them. Really help them, and that's what we want to do in business. Really, surprisingly, surprisingly, that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to help each other make the world bigger, better, brighter, more beautiful, safer, more friendly. You know, we're trying to save the dolphins. They don't need being saved except from us, but never mind. It's a good thing to try and do. Yeah, and we're all trying to help each other, and that sort of begins with, you know, what makes you happy. And there's a hell of a lot of people who don't know what makes them happy. Well, I like Cadbury's chocolate, and flowers are nice, and when I don't have a headache, you know, there's a lot of that in the world. There's a lot of people really confused about that element because over the last year they have absorbed the information, they have been taught to sacrifice their happiness. Yes, this makes you happy, but doing this will make all of these people unhappy, so you can't do it. Oh, wow, that's great. Just let's reverse 250 years of intellectual development by suddenly thinking that happiness is, it's not the only thing, but it matters. It matters because you don't want to be sad your whole life. That would just be pointless. Number of people who have in the last year has gone because they don't know how to process all these pressures. I guarantee you. Yeah, I got this from there's a great I probably told you this years ago. There's a great Tony Robbins documentary. Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker. There's a great documentary called I Am Not Your Guru. I Am Not Your Guru. Now, it's one of these everybody must watch documentaries. It's fantastic. And I can't remember the exact number, so I'm gonna create this number. But he said if you've got a room of 100 people, in that room are 3 or 7 people who have tried to kill themselves. Says you've got a room of 100 people.
Between 3 and 7%.
Yeah. Have thought about killing themselves.
It means that on today, based on this number, on today's conference, we were there 200 people. It's okay.
Yeah, it could be 15, right? Maybe maximum number. Okay, minimum number 6, maximum number 15, right? Yeah. So there could be 15 people, and this was before all of these modern pressures hit society in the last 12 months plus. This was before that. So the number has only gone up, right? So if you've got a conference with 200 people, you can expect there's, for sure, it's an absolute fact that there's at least one person in there who's really seriously thought about killing themselves or tried to kill themselves. And I would suggest it's 10 to 15 due to the, and if you're in a company that's putting more and more pressure on itself to perform and micromanage everybody's lives, for sure it's going to be in the higher percentage of numbers within there. Yeah. And that's the impact of what's been happening, and the realization that there's a lot of stress in society and people are very uncomfortable with that stress, and the result of that is psychological and mental problems in people. Yeah. Those and how do we process that? Those unable to live in silence, those unable to turn off the noise, either internally, externally, or both, have issues. Yeah. A lot of people cannot sit by themselves in a room in the dark and feel comfortable. A lot of people, they just can't feel comfortable. They get nervous, get worried. Oh my gosh, it's dark. Ooh, scary. Ooh. A lot of people can't do that. It's extremely hard for them. They need some assurance or some dependency on something or some comfort, or they need something in their hand, or they need something in the background, or there's a lot of people who I was thinking about an example because I was talking with somebody else about this recently, and I was thinking about an example where, I don't know if you saw the last, it was the last or the second to last Star Wars film that was made. Or no, okay, it's good. That's good because you're outside of that loop of culture, which is great.
No, I don't like this movie.
Okay, good. Then you're outside of that loop of culture, and that's great. But you probably know something about the story. There's a main character. The main character is called Luke Skywalker. He's a Jedi Knight with a lightsaber who protects the universe. And he disappears. He just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last 2 or 3 films, there's a new hero. There's a girl, I think Ray, her name is, I think, which is, it's all, there's this huge subtext in the story. Like Luke is Lucius, who is Lightbringer, who brings light. It's also Lucifer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray is a ray of light, is a beam of light. There's so much esoterica. It's quite amazing. And so Ray has to go and look for Luke. That's funny as well. And I think it turns out Luke is her father, I think. I'm not sure of the exact story. But she finds him living, she finds him living alone on a rock. It's something in between. It's not an island. It's just a big rock, yeah, in the middle of the sea. And she finds him living there because that is where he has gone to learn to live with himself, to learn to understand who he is, to be at peace, to not have the external distractions of the world, to not have other voices in his life. And most people don't get that opportunity because life ties our hands with certain things that we must do, whether it's for ourselves or for the place that we live or for our children or for our partner or for our work or for our friends or for our parents or for our neighbor or to fix the car or to help out somebody else, or there's just a lot of noise, yeah, which makes people feel like things are okay, makes people feel like things are happening. It's the conference that nobody benefits from. The conference that nobody benefits from is just noise. It's just noise. All talk with no meat, all surface but no depth, no feeling there. Because what's important is, when you start feeling things and your heart begins to chase or race and beat. What makes life worth living is the little comments between friends like, he's using the word boss. That's the wrong word. You should be using the word, manager, leader, developer, mentor, tutor, advisor, guide. Take your pick. Right? I mean, it's we collectively use the word leader. Hell, I wrote 4 books on that, okay? 4 books I wrote on that concept. So, because I understood that in the business world, that's key to that world. No leadership, no progress. That's key in that world. And by the way, my new book is out today.
Really?
There we go. Yes, today. My new book is out today. Yeah.